Konjaku Monogatari. 6-2. The tale of Buddhism's transmission from India to China. Once upon a time, during the reign of Emperor Ming of the later Han Dynasty, AD 57-75, the emperor had a dream of a golden figure, 3 meters tall, who came to him. Upon waking, the emperor summoned his wise ministers and asked them to interpret the dream. One of the ministers said, "A noble sage from another land will come." Hearing this, the emperor eagerly awaited this sage. Eventually, monks from India named Matanga and Dharmaratna arrived. They brought with them relics of the Buddha, scriptures, and many other sacred objects, all of which they offered to the emperor. The emperor, overjoyed, recognized that these were the people he had been waiting for, and devoted himself to Buddhism. However, not all the ministers and court officials welcomed this development. Many of them, including the Taoists of the 5 mountains, were displeased. They said, "The teachings we follow have been revered from the emperor down to the common people. From ancient times to the present, everyone in this country has honored them. Now the emperor is venerating strange scriptures brought by foreigners, who look different, dress differently, and speak in an incomprehensible language. This is deeply unsettling." There was widespread criticism of the new religion. Despite this, the emperor held Matanga in high regard and deeply devoted himself to Buddhism, even establishing a temple called the White Horse Temple. The emperor placed the Buddha's relics and scriptures in this temple and appointed Matanga as its head, continuing to venerate him. The Taoists, displeased and frustrated, approached the emperor and said, "It is strange that these suspicious bald-headed foreigners are being honored for their writings and the remains of their sage, the Buddha. What is so special about them? Our way allows us to predict the future, read people's fortunes, and discern the good and bad that will happen in their lives. This is why, from ancient times to the present, the emperor and the people have all revered our path. Now it seems that our way is being abandoned. We should compete with these bald men in a contest of magic. Whoever wins should be honored, and whoever loses should be cast aside." Hearing this, the emperor was troubled and thought, "The Taoists can predict heavenly and earthly matters. But these monks from a foreign land know nothing of this and are unfamiliar with such arts. If we compete and the Indian monks lose, it would be a great tragedy." The emperor hesitated to issue an order for a contest and first summoned Matanga, asking, "In this country, the Taoists of the 5 mountains have been venerated for a long time. Now, out of jealousy, they wish to compete in magic. What should we do?" Matanga joyfully replied, "The teachings I have brought have long been venerated through contests of magic. Therefore, please hold the contest immediately and witness the outcome." The emperor was pleased with this response and issued an order for Matanga and the Taoists to compete in magic in the garden in front of the palace. On the appointed day, a large crowd gathered from across the nation to watch. In the east, a splendid tent was erected, and about 2,000 high-ranking Taoists gathered inside. Some were elderly and bald, while others were young and vigorous, each one a master of their path, worthy of ancient honor. The ministers and court officials also stood on the side of the Taoists, as they believed in the Taoists' ability to read ancient texts and predict past, present, and future events. On Matanga's side, only one minister was present. The emperor, however, placed his hopes on Matanga. The Taoists placed various scriptures in jade boxes and arranged them on decorated platforms. On the west side, a tent was erected for Matanga and the minister. They placed the Buddha's relics in a lapis lazuli urn, and the scriptures they had brought in a decorated box containing only 200 or 300 scrolls. As both sides prepared to begin their magic, one of the Taoists suggested that Matanga's disciples set fire to the Taoist scriptures. Following this advice, one of Matanga's disciples came forward and set fire to the Taoist scriptures. At the same time, a Taoist came forward and set fire to Matanga's scriptures. Flames rose from both sides and black smoke filled the sky. At that moment, the Buddha's relics began to emit light and ascended into the sky, followed by the scriptures, which floated and remained suspended in the air. Matanga held an incense burner and never took his eyes off them. Meanwhile, the Taoist scriptures were all consumed by fire and reduced to ashes. Some Taoists bit their tongues and died, while others wept tears of blood. bled from their noses, or suffocated. Some stood up and fled, while others crossed over to Matanga's side and became his disciples. Some were left in agony, eventually passing away. These miraculous events unfolded before the emperor's eyes, and he wept as he stood up and bowed to Matanga. From that time onward, the Buddhist scriptures and the true teachings spread and flourished in the Han land, as the story has been passed down to this day.